Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of some orchid updates. I'm not going to show you the phalaenopsis, we just talked about them, but it's a nice image to start the video with. So today I will be behind the camera because I will be honest, I really didn't have any time to put myself together and make the structure of a tutorial and things of the sort. So we're going to take it easy, reminiscent of the balcony days and the olden days that are no more, right? Anyway, I'm gonna show you some orchids today that are doing some surprising things, perhaps. You know how these videos go. And without further ado, no more intro, no more blabbing. Let's just start with the first orchid that I want to show you. The Neofinetia falcata variety Nishidemiyako. I purchased this one many years ago. I don't even remember how many years ago it was. I got myself a few Neofinetia falcatas from Orchids Deluxe, and you didn't hear much about them since, right? Yeah, well, they grow vegetatively unless thrips get to them. I lost most of my Neofinetias to thrips, but this one survived. You don't really hear about them because I honestly don't think they're meant for my climate. I think they like more cooler climates, and climates definitely with much shorter summers than I do, so I never can rebloom them. Until this year, because what you see there, it's not an illusion. It is a flower spike with buds, and I wish I could tell you what I did right to get the flower spike this year, but I have absolutely no idea. I have some suspicions, but really honestly, I don't know. It's the first time that I really honestly rebloom an older Neofinetia, not one that I just purchased. And honestly, I don't know because I didn't really change anything except one thing. I put this orchid on my southern window, let's put it like that. It got blasted with sun all winter long. You don't really see the sun now because it's high in the sky, but in winter it tends to go lower, so this side is very bright in the winter. It also was here next to the open window, which now it's closed because it's too hot right now. I'm running the AC. It's incredibly hot. Summer is here. It's been here since March, but anyway. So I've kept it here, cool nights, as cool as possible, and also bright light. And honestly, the cool nights, I've had them before, but the bright light is rather new because there are many sources on the internet suggesting that Neofinetia falcatas, now Vanda falcatas, do better in lower light situations. So I kind of kept them in phalaenopsis-like conditions for all of these years, and I cannot complain about the growth, the vegetative growth, but I've never rebloomed them. And I put it down to my climate, which I think it's one of the biggest factors. And since I kind of gave up on trying to rebloom them, I didn't try anything else. I just kept them alive until this year. I put this one here because I didn't have any more space for it, and I kind of wanted to protect it from some mealybugs, so I put it here. And maybe this is the difference. Maybe these orchids really do actually bloom better in high light conditions. Now, it wasn't in danger of being burned or anything because I do have a sheer curtain here in the window, but it did receive the most light this particular room can give. And I didn't do that in previous years. So could this be just a fluke and, light having nothing to do with it? Or did I just discover how to rebloom Neofinetias? I mean, I'm sure many people know how to rebloom Neofinetias. I'm just kind of a noob when it comes to them. But I was just under the impression that Neos really do like much cooler environments. I don't know what I did to make this flower spike grow. I wish I did, but I'm gonna experiment from now on. I'm gonna pay more attention to Neos. Well, this one, because I don't really have any other, and I'm not about to purchase any others, but I will see what we do next year. I'm gonna keep it in very bright light from now on and see how we do, but I'm very happy to have some Neofinetia blooms this year. And here are my little kitties. We shall make a dedicated video for them, but today what I wanted to show you was that kitty that I bragged about, that we already have a flower spike. It was not a flower spike, it was just a rogue pseudobulb on top of another pseudobulb. So yeah, don't get your hopes high. No flowers from the kitties yet. But ever since then, look at that. We're already almost maturing yet another growth. This Cattleya grows fast. But is it blooming size? Honestly, no, it's not. I was getting excited for no reason. It's definitely a seedling and it has more growing to do. But I'm happy that it's a fast grower at least. But what's up with these rogue pseudobulbs? That shouldn't happen. It's just wasting energy at this point. But yeah, if you've ever wondered what happened to that little Cattleya that was about to bloom, that was sold as a seedling and was not a seedling, well, here she... Oh, I see an ant. When I move, I'm gonna clean all of these orchids, but now I can't. I don't have the energy. But yeah, I'm gonna get rid of all of these ants when I move. So yeah, this is what happened with this orchid. It's still a seedling. I was excited for nothing, and we won't have any blooms, but at least she's a fast grower. And if you also were wondering whatever happened to the Habenaria orchids, I see another ant. Okay, yeah, I have an ant issue in this cabinet. It's okay. Let's try to not focus too much on them, although I know they're distracting. I hate them. But anyway, so whatever happened to the Habenarias? Well, I have some good news and some bad news. This is the Habenaria that I broke the corm of, and I was very, very upset with myself. I thought I killed it, but no, look at her, she sprouted. It's the Habenaria with the beautiful leaves, and I cannot be happier because this is the one I kind of really liked. Not necessarily flower-wise, but leaf-wise. So I'm really happy I didn't kill this one. The other piece of the corm that I broke, I potted separately, but nothing sprouted, and the corm actually dried up. So yeah, there was no growth point for that from that corm, but the main corm is still intact. And now for the bad news, I think the other Habenaria is gone. So, oops, this is the corm, and I don't see anything. Nope, I think it's completely dry. Nothing sprouted, so I think this one is gone. But at least this one sprouted. Why are Habenarias just so tricky, huh? I don't know. Maybe I lucked out the first time that I had them, in the balcony. And I was like, oh, these are easy. Maybe it was just pure beginner's luck or something like that. Because now I'm having quite the issues with overwintering these guys. So I did I guess, an okay job with this one. Although I broke the corm. But somehow it survived. But I don't know exactly what I did because I stopped watering both of these at the same time when I saw, the leaves starting to dry. I repotted them at the same time. I kind of watered them at the same time. This one, when I repotted it, was already sprouted. This one, no. So I don't know. I don't know why one failed and one succeeded because I kind of did things very, very similarly, and theoretically they should have the same pattern of growth. So here we are. I'm not giving up on Habenarias because I really, really like them. Not gonna be in a rush to buy any new ones. I am really enjoying this one a lot. But in the future, with a future opportunity, yeah, I'm gonna try again with Habenarias and try to do a better job. But obviously a care tutorial is postponed until further notice because this is... I cannot make a care tutorial with this results. So one survived, one didn't, and I don't really know why, but I will find out eventually. Wait, I'm not finished. What is wrong with me, you guys? Seriously, what is wrong with me? So I went to water this corm because I thought, well, what if there's something there? I wanted to poke around and I wanted to remove the sphagnum moss because I couldn't really see the corm, and I wetted it because otherwise you can't really remove the moss. So I was poking around dried bits, and oh goodness. One of the dried bits was a sheath covering a new growth. It is alive and I just broke it. And also I discovered another new growth right here. Do you see it? That white dot there. I hope I didn't completely destroy that one as well because I was just trying to remove the moss. Okay, I think, see? Oh, I have multiple white points. I see them now. Okay, so the good thing is that I do remember this one had multiple growths. It had something like 5 growths or 5 stems. By the way, I'm gonna tell you a funny story about Han. It's not funny. Should I share? I'm oversharing, but I want to share it with you. So, okay, this Habenaria had 4 or 5 stems, so I'm pretty sure this corm has multiple growth points. It is alive. I just think I need to water it more. I completely destroyed probably one of the growths. It's apparently a thing I do, breaking Habenarias, so... Anyway, I'm gonna put it back in its pot, cover it with moss, and start watering it, and fingers crossed, it forgives me and starts to grow. But seriously now, me and Habenarias, I am the Habenaria destroyer. This is how I will be called from now on. Okay, the funny story about the ants, it's not funny, but anyway, it happened yesterday. So in the daytime, I close all the windows and turn on the AC, right? Well, in the night, I do shut off the AC and open the windows, and to reach the window, I have to lean over some plants. And well, some of those orchids are Cattleyas. They're tall, they have sheaths, and they have sap on them, and that sap attracts ants. So sometimes they have some ants on them. Like this entire room is infested with ants, and I cannot be bothered at this point. We're gonna move in a few weeks. I can't be bothered to do anything. When I move, I'm gonna remove all of these orchids and clean everything up, but not now. Anyway, so I was leaning over those orchids that had some ants. I didn't see they had ants. I saw after and I felt after. So I was leaning, I closed, actually opened the window, and then I went directly out to meet with my husband. And on the way in the car, I cannot tell you how much my chest area started to itch and like seriously hurt. Yep, I got bitten. But do you think I can scratch in public in that area? No, I can't. So I had to just cry. I was literally crying tears until I got to the destination. The pain and the itching started to subside, and I got to take a look at what happened, and I was so red. It's beyond. Did I tell you I'm a little sensitive to the bite of ants? Look at them. Maybe a little allergic, I don't know. I'm avoiding them at all costs, and typically I do a good job, but I didn't realize that I was leaning over an ant-filled orchid, and some of the ants rubbed off my clothes and bit me from the place where I cannot scratch in public. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that happened, and it was painful as heck. But yeah, hopefully you got a good laugh. Now that I think about it, you know, it's funny, but in the moment, it wasn't funny at all. It was so painful. Anyway, from now on, I shall be known as the Habenaria Destroyer. I'm gonna take care of this one after I finish this video. But here I go again, breaking the Habenarias. What else is new? Ah! Oh, shoot. I had an ant on my hand. If something starts to swell, I can't wait to move. I cannot wait to move. I want to move tomorrow. I want to move today. I want to move right now. I cannot wait. But I can't. So yeah. How did that ant get on my hand? I have no idea because I didn't touch anything. Anyway, let's move on. And just so you know, I have my ant insecticide here, and I do spray, but it's so much spraying that I'm like, no, I'm just gonna move all of the orchids, clean everything up, do an entire cleaning of this room, and then spray with insecticide. Now it's useless because I don't know where the entry point is. I have to move furniture around. It's impossible. I have to move the aquariums. I cannot move the aquariums. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you might be thinking, why do you let all of these ants just run about? I'm gonna move in a few weeks. And even if I spray everything now, I'm still not gonna get the entry points. So it's useless. So that's why I leave them be, and I'm just gonna try to tolerate it for a little while. But yeah, I don't think that ant bit my hand because I don't see anything swelling or itching, but that was a close one. Alrighty, leaving the ants behind us. Literally, I'm on the other side of the room now. Here we have one of my most favorite Brassavola hybrids. This is the David Sander. I think, do we have another name for it? No, Brassavola David Sander. Is it? This is, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just speaking of memory here, which might not be that great. This is a Cucullata and Nodosa hybrid. So what we have here is something that looks a little bit like both of them. It has a beautifully large flower that is not so spidery. It's a bit more open, but it still has these beautiful fringes. It also has a beautiful pinky shade to it. Is it a Nodosa hybrid? I'll double check when I edit this video, and I'll put it on the screen. It's so elegant. I'm so happy this orchid bloomed again. What happened to this orchid? Because I actually have it for a big number of years. 8 years at this point? 7? I have it for a lot of years, and look at it. Well, what happened is that it was set back, and I've discovered that this particular hybrid is not as fast growing or easygoing as any other Brassavola hybrids. I don't know if it's this particular individual or other orchids. I checked for Fusarium, I didn't see anything. But who knows really, since it's such an old orchid, it might have had in the past some Fusarium, I don't know. In the past few years, it started to grow faster and faster, and the most recent growths have developed and matured very fast, and this one actually bloomed. But there was a point in this orchid's life where it was growing like one tiny pseudobulb in 1 year. It was that setback or sick, I don't know. But I hung on to it because it bloomed once before a few years ago, and I loved it so dearly that I was not giving up on it. And I refused to even buy a new one. I just wanted this one. Do you ever have these obsessions, like this particular one, this individual, this one and no other, because this is the one I want? I have these things sometimes with some orchids. I have the same thing with the Bellina, the Phalaenopsis bellina, which we know has a virus, but I want her, not others, you know? It's the same with the David Sander that I have here. This particular one is the one that I want, and this is the one that I try to nurse back to health and make happy. And I can tell you, it does not like semi-hydro. Cattleyas usually did okay in semi-hydro for me, except this one. So she was severely set back so many times, so many times that it was barely growing. It's one of the most beautiful orchids I've ever laid my eyes upon, to be honest. And I think, you know me, I like very elegant orchids, very pendanty orchids. Brassavolas and especially Cucullata hybrids are right up my alley. I like the spidery pendant type of flowers, and I don't mind much if they're just white or something. I just find them very elegant. And this one, I just had to show it to you guys because it's just so beautiful. It warms my heart every time I see it. Oh, it's also fragrant in the nighttime. Not as fragrant as a Cucullata would be, or maybe I'm just not here, you know, at midnight or something. But yeah, definitely not as potent. So maybe that's a good thing for those of you who have scent sensitivities. Next up, who do we have here? Could it be another Sarcochilus blooming? Yes, it is. This guy is Sarcochilus Rosella Spotty crossed. So Rosella Spotty crossed with Kulnura Smoothie tip. That's a pretty complicated name. Okay, we're gonna put this back later. But there she is. She's in bloom. She had more blooms than this, but hey, you know me, I do not film my orchids in time. And especially because the outside weather became very hot lately, I just moved my Sarcochilus inside today. Yeah, we lost 3 or 4 flowers already. But we have these 2 that I would like to show to you and tell you that they are fragrant. And the way they smell, you guys, they smell like snowdrops. I think that's how they're called. Spring flowers. Not hyacinths, but I would say snowdrops. And there's another flower we have in Romania. I don't know the name in English. You guys, do you know brebenei? Ați fost vreodată la pădure să culegeți brebenei și ghiocei? Yeah, I said something in Romanian for my fellow watchers. It smells like that, like a forest in Romania in spring. I don't know how many of you will imagine, but if you imagine snowdrops, yeah, that's how it smells. And it's lovely and adorable, but yeah, the flowers are on their way out, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And the flowers are out, not on their way out, they are out. Goodness, I filmed it just in time, but look at that. Look how pretty she is. This one is gonna, there you go. Good thing I decided to film this video today, because tomorrow she wouldn't have been around. Look at the beautiful flowers. She is adorable. I'm looking forward to Sarcochilus next year because I kind of got the hang of them. The idea is to put them outside as soon as the weather gets cold and leave them there in the coldest months of Cyprus and not move them. Do not put them back in the warmth. Even if I feel like it's a little chilly outside. No. Leave them out and let them do their thing. They will not suffer. They like the cold. And just let them there until the flower spikes mature. All of my Sarcochilus have had little spike nubs. Only 2 of them made it because of my own mistake. I brought them in because I thought, oh, it's a little cold. No. I need to let them sit outside. Otherwise, they will stop growing their flower spikes. If they get too warm, they will stop their flower spikes. This one, it grew this flower spike, but it had another one. Where was it? Or I don't know if this one was it, maybe the other one that bloomed. It had two flower spikes. One reached maturity, one did not, one aborted because it got warm. And if you remember, I put them in the greenhouse and then I realized, ooh, I should have left them outside, and I put them outside again and they started to grow flower spikes again, but then summer came and they stopped growing flower spikes. It was a clown fiesta. But now I know for the future. What am I doing? Oh, goodness. Sorry about that. I moved the setting wheels on my camera. So yeah, the trick is to not move them. Leave them out in the cold, let them get almost frosty, and yeah, not bring them in. And that's probably gonna make them bloom in my climate. Obviously, if you're in Australia, probably don't have to hassle as much. Maybe you can even bloom them inside, but not me. I have to leave them outside, and I think it's gonna work out. And I'm very happy, even though I kind of failed at blooming them or filming their blooms, but I learned a lot, so I'm very excited about next year. You know what's funny? Even if the flowers fell, they're still fragrant. How can this be? Yeah, they just fell because we have an extreme heat wave at the moment, and I just brought these orchids in. Yeah, better luck next year. Another beautiful orchid I wanted to show you is this Encyclia Black Comet. I've had it for a while. Well, I guess I got it last year at some point. And look at that. It has a flower shop tag. Do we see that? Yes, in some countries, this orchid has been sold in flower shops. Not in my country, but anyway. And it's in full bloom now. I'm trying to adjust a little bit the settings. It's a little bright, but I cannot really fix it much right now. Do we see we have quite a few mealybugs on it, which I will take care of in a second after I film it. But anyway, I just wanted to show it to you guys, and probably you will see it in the Orchids in Bloom video as well, because the flowers are going pretty strong. This is an orchid I've wanted for many years, but I've never caught it in stock. When I saw it for sale, it was in stock. I couldn't order, and then when I had the budget, it wasn't in stock, and so on and so forth. It was a game of cat and mouse for a few years with me and this orchid until I found it, and it was like one of those very small orders. I think I got it from Look Orchidean or Orchid Garden, one of the two. It was just one of those spur of the moments, this and another orchid that I ordered or something like that, because it was in stock. And even though I didn't really have any other orchids I wanted, I just really wanted this one, so I placed a very tiny order just for it. And now it is in bloom, and isn't she glorious? Bonus, it actually smells. It is very reminiscent of some sort of jasmine. Now, jasmine can smell many different ways, I've discovered. It smells like that type of jasmine that reminds me of gardenias as well. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not one-to-one. It's a little earthy, I guess. That's how I would describe gardenias, even though I love the smell of gardenias. It's jasmine-y, gardenia-ish, and it's really moderately, let's say, scented. The silage, I think this is how you call it, right? The silage. I think it's a French word, isn't it? So it would be silage. So the silage is pretty moderate, pretty good. I mean, I can be in the vicinity of this orchid and detect it, which may be bad news for some of you, but for me it's good news. I cannot say it's a typical fragrance that I like. It's an atypical fragrance that I'm surprised I like, because it's very easy to go too earthy with these types of fragrances. But just like gardenia, it's interesting enough for me to absolutely adore it. It's not for everybody, but it's a very interesting smell, and I really like it. And if you see this orchid, at least for the looks, I think it's worth it. She's a very dark purple color, which, you know, from some angles, maybe not apparent on the camera, but from some angles, it can look like it has a black lip. If you imagine it really badly. It's actually a very dark purple, but it's lovely. It really is a lovely orchid. If you see it in flower shops, I mean, go for it. Just grab it. You're gonna love it. I am sure of it. And lastly, I'm gonna show you some Tolumnia surprises. So that is Snow Carmine. Wasn't I just telling you that what I like about this one is that it stays more compact and it has tinier flower spikes? Well, decided not to do that anymore. And that, you know what that is? It's on its way out. It's what it is. That is Sahara. Again, I was saying that I think it's a little bit more compact and I like it. No more compactness. We reached a size where we can go mental with the flower spikes. We have the pink lady in bloom again. One thing that you have to know, and I have to be a little bit more on top of, whenever these guys are in bloom, they can dehydrate. They can take a toll on the mother plants. Do you see how dehydrated my Sahara is? I hope that you can see. I hope it's focusing. Yeah, I'm gonna cut the flower spikes right now, even though I didn't do a spotlight on it or anything. It's fine. It's okay. I need to cut the flower spikes. So this one bloomed like just a couple of months ago, and it's already blooming again on 2 flower spikes. It's too much. It's overdoing itself. So from now on, what I think I'm gonna do, whenever these guys start to bloom a little bit chaotically and I see the foliage starting to wrinkle, I am going to cut the flower spikes and yeah, let them recoup, because they're overdoing it. I mean, this is not the first one it's doing this. I had the carrot, do you remember? It overdid itself. I didn't repot it in time because I didn't notice, and yeah, I lost that one. It got too dehydrated because of the flower spikes, because I didn't offer enough water. Now I have these orchids in self-watering and it is better, but still I see when they have this really big inflorescence right after another big inflorescence, especially, they kind of tend to deplete themselves a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is cut the flower spikes earlier. They can sit in bloom for months. That's another drawback, let's say. It's not like, oh, it's in bloom for a couple of weeks and that's it. No, it sits in bloom for months on end, and it produces side shoots as well, like branches, and that takes a toll. They can overdo it sometimes. So very interesting. Did you ever have it happen with any Tolumnias? And I'm only referring to these guys that put on quite the flower spikes. When I have like tinier flower spikes, nothing happens. You know this snow carmine? It has tiny compact flower spikes. Look at this flower spikes. It's the first time it does this, and I can see mild shriveling on the leaves. I have to be careful with that one and make sure it's watered. So whenever they do this, my Tolumnias, they're overdoing themselves. And I don't really know why, but I'm keeping an eye on them. Anyway, so yeah, that is about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Hope you've enjoyed seeing all of these orchids, and yeah, I cannot wait to do the moving vlog, which I always think, it's in a couple of weeks, and then we get delayed. It's in a couple of weeks again. No, another delay, and so on and so forth. So it will come at some point. As I was saying, I cannot wait to move out, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know when it's gonna be. Hopefully soon, hopefully in June. Like, I hope in June. Anyway, so I cannot wait to do the moving vlog, and until then, yeah, we're just gonna do things in the room and start preparing soon. Maybe I can do a video in which I show you how I get rid of the ants in the pots. Because some ants, yeah, do make shelters in the pots, and that's not fun. But yeah, we're gonna start to do that type of content, and yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy. And again, I hope you had a good time today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!